Adam Jardy at the Columbus Dispatch. For all three of you, I suppose, defensively, the way you were able to execute your game plan yesterday, is that replicable? Can you play with that same focus and attention to detail for a second consecutive game?
Malachi, why don't you start?
I feel like we're going to have to if we want to win. If we just stay connected like we've been doing, last game, I feel like we're going to be in good shape.
Eugene?
I feel like we're just playing for each other right now. So on the defensive end, we all connected, flowing with the ball, playing for each other, it's going to be a great defensive game.
Go ahead, Jamar.
Like those guys said, just execute on the defensive end. That's one thing we want to hold our hat to, like coming into that game, just focus on defense and getting stops, and offense to take care of itself once we get stops and everything like that. So I think we're going to do it, and like Kai said, we ain't going to have no choice but to do it if we want to keep dancing.
Griffin Strom, 11 Warriors. For Malachi and Jamari, playing in your first NCAA tournament game, how did the nerves kind of live up to the expectations or compare to your expectations? And do you feel like after having already played a game, on that floor, you guys can kind of, settle in even more for this second game now?
Jamari, you want to start?
It was a lot of excitement. At first media, everybody like, all right, we got our second win, now let's go. Everybody's so excited because, like you say, especially me in my first NCAA game, so I was just taking advantage, just soaking it all in, but at the same time, locked into details and doing my job.
Yeah, so what Jamari said too, it was a lot of nerves going into that first media. But after that, it was about basketball. We handle business.
Jamari, a guy who prides himself in defensive end, as a smaller guard, when you're going up against a backcourt that's maybe a little bigger than normal, what are some of the challenges in facing guys like that?
Just being physical, starting the game with setting the rules. It's also one-on-one defense, but at the same time, it's a team defense. So just doing what I'm doing, using my speed, my quickness to disrupt big guards and slow guards, but just taking my time and just executing the defensive plan, really.
Go ahead, Jerry.
Jerry DePaula, Tribune Review, Pittsburgh. If you guys all of a sudden had to go up against your own defense, that kind of intensity, that kind of smothering intensity, how would you attack it?
Malachi, why don't you start?
We'll retake that.
Can't attack that. There's no way to attack that defense.
Yeah, there's no solid answer to that, to be honest. That's a good question, yeah.
You got to figure something out. Hope it works.
Bill Landis from The Athletic. Malachi, you were talking yesterday about having to kind of adjust in game to Williamson's physicality. Yeah. Just wondering how you feel like you've grown in your ability to do that, say from November, December until now.
Yeah, really it's just the growth of playing in games from, like you said, November to March. Just my growth and seeing how defense has been playing me and just adjusting on the fly. So I feel like just seeing the defensive assignments kind of grow, throughout my play, just kind of adjusting like that.
Will Graves, Associated Press. Eugene, the way last season ended was tough for you guys. EJ seemed to receive a lion's share of blame on social media. He's talked about that kind of stuff. Was there a fear in your mind that, guys transfer for lots of reasons these days? I mean, it doesn't make, a billion reasons. Was there a worry that you were going to lead, that he was going to bail? And what has he meant to you guys, beyond just maybe the way that he plays?
No, I didn't think EJ was ever going to transfer or leave, maybe go to the league, but never switch schools. He's a Buckeye. He loves this place. We all do. So, it's been solid ever since that, game last year where we, exited early. We took it to the chin and we just battled, the whole season, off season. That's just something we kept in mind. So, he means a lot to this team and, we're just going to keep it going.
Hey, Gene, Colin Gay, Rivals. It seemed like, Villanova's, again, another smaller opponent. Guys with a lot of switching ability, with a lot of versatility. And I'm curious, you saw that against Loyola Chicago, a lot of success defensively. Is that kind of the same game plan without getting into too many specifics? Is that physicality, especially with the amount of versatility that they have on the roster, do you feel like, you guys can kind of pick up where they left off in terms of the same defensive approach that you guys had last night?
We kind of just lock in on the main thing. So, if we need to switch, we will. If we don't, we don't. We just, play solid defense. Everybody win their one-on-one matchup and, stay connected.
Jacob Benj with the Lantern. Gene, we talked with Chris Holtman yesterday after the game, and just talking about how, as a coach, and you mentioned how last season ended the way it did. I'm curious how you've seen Chris Holtman just approach the NCAA tournament this year. He mentioned how, as a coach, he has to have tunnel vision and whatnot. How have you seen him this year just kind of approach March Madness and whatnot, and especially after the win yesterday?
I feel like we're just trying to focus on one game at a time. We're not getting too far ahead of ourselves, staying in the moment, staying in one possession. Just keeping goals small, but, also keeping a big sight of, what we want to get to.
Craig Meyer, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. For all three guys, I'm curious what the experience is like for y'all of having a guy like Greg Oden on staff. And I don't know, how much y'all may remember him as a player, but what's that experience been like?
Jamar, you want to take that first?
It's good just having an older guy, just learning from him. Just ask him like little questions, because like you said, he been playing for a long time, so just getting little tips from him and here and there. But I'm glad he on the staff. He teaches a lot.
Eugene?
Yeah, like you said, just being able to pick his brain, him playing, college basketball here and, going to the league, stuff like that. So just being able to pick his brain and, pick up little bits of information here and there is solid.
Malachi?
I feel like they said everything that I was going to say, so.
You guys won yesterday by, I think, 13 points. You were 1 of 15 from 3. Those numbers don't normally line up. Offensively, what's the key going to be to shoot better tomorrow? And do the basketballs feel different at all?
Malachi, why don't you start that one?
The basketballs don't feel different. We practiced a couple of days with the basketball, so we kind of get used to them. But we just gonna keep shooting. They're gonna fall eventually. So.
Eugene?
Kind of just keep shooting. Teams go through slumps, and if we just keep shooting, keep our confidence, they'll eventually start falling.
Jamar?
That's why we hang our head on the defense end, because we can't control shots falling. So we know just focus on the defense end. You're going to get good shots. You can't control if it go in the hoop or out the hoop. So just get stops, and you'll like the result at the end of the day.
Jamari, leading into the game, you guys had a full week of practice, and the coaches have talked about getting more leadership from guys in that week and really being dialed in on the game plan. How did you see this team take advantage of that time that you had to prepare and get a little bit healthier? What was practice like the last week between Penn State and Loyola Chicago?
It was fun. Like I say, once we hit the tournament, got selection Sunday, we felt like it was like everybody was so excited. We felt like it was the first day of college basketball practice again. But like you said, the leadership, like really the players ran the practice. Like we kept each other accountable, focused on the details, knew that everybody had us as the underdog, so everybody was locked in the whole week. And we talked about that a little bit today after practice, just stay locked in, things like that. And coach just going to have a game plan out. We just got to go out there and execute it.
Will?
Gina, I guess you might be the one that might have to guard EJ in practice. I don't know. I don't know if that happens a lot, but what are the challenges? It looks to me, just by watching him, and forgive me, there's like some old man in his game a little bit. I saw yesterday shots weren't falling, but he gets in the lane, he gets a little bump, creates some separation, pulls up. You don't see that a lot these days. Mm-hmm. So just what's it like guarding him, and how would you sort of describe the way that he plays?
It's real tough to guard him. I'm guarding him all summer, basically this whole off season. It's you got to find your distance. He can shoot the three. You get too close, he's driving by you, dribbling in the post. It's just a lot of different ways he can score. So that's why, he's so effective each night, because, you can't stop one thing, you can't cut him off, because he's going to find a way to get on the offensive end.
Malachi, I know the nerves are probably never going to completely settle down, but you've got a game under your belt. You already talked about being nervous heading into the game. Do you feel like you're almost like a tournament, not a veteran, but you feel like you have enough experience where the nerves won't really be as much of a factor tomorrow as they were yesterday?
Yeah, like you said, I got that one game under my belt, so knowing what, March Madness is all about, I feel good about going into tomorrow and, helping the team win.
Steve Hellwagon, 24/7 Sports. For any of the guys, after the game, Coach Holtman just basically said that there's more to prove, I guess, or more to show for this team, and you can't just be satisfied with winning one game. Just in any of your minds, what does this mean for Ohio State if you can beat Villanova, get to the Sweet 16? You were a top 20 team in the rankings all season until the wheels kind of went off there at the end. Just what would it mean to put it all back together here at the end of the year?
Eugene, you want to take that?
It'll basically just, show everybody what we know we are. Because, of course we were in the top 25. We kind of fell off at the end of the season. But, all along we knew we were a dangerous team. We just had to get things back rolling. So I just feel like we have something to prove to, everybody that counted us out, everybody that continues to count us out. So it'll mean a lot to us.
Will?
What stands out to you about their backcourt? I mean, obviously they got some guys back there that are experienced, know how to play, highly regarded. Sort of, what are the challenges did they pose that maybe you didn't see yesterday?
Jamar, you want to take that?
Like you said, they're older, so their experience they're going to be solid, sound solid, not going to turn the ball over, play out 2 feet, things like that. So just executing the game plan, the defensive game plan, like we did the first game, and just play with a lot of effort.
For any of you, what did it feel like last night? When the game's over, you have sort of the whole afternoon, evening to maybe watch games, but also reflect on winning an NCAA tournament game. What did that feel like? Were your phones blown up, family, friends back home? What was the experience like?
Malachi, you want to start?
It felt good. Just personally, just winning my first, March Madness game. So that felt good, and then, we kind of had some fun, but at the same time, it's kind of a quick turnaround because we play, tomorrow. So we had to lock in. We had to have a little fun, but then also lock in on Villanova. So,
Eugene, you want to add to that?
I think for me it was a different feeling because last year we had the early exit, so walking out the arena and instead of them saying safe travels, they say see you Sunday. It was a great feeling, honestly. So it just feels good.
Jamari?
Yeah, winning always feel good, especially winning the March Madness. I was excited, and like Kai, this is my first tournament and my first win, so I was just excited all day. But like he said, quick turnaround next game.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.